So you deleted social media, and you have all of this free time now. What are you going to do? Well, as a fellow social media detoxer who has been off of all of these platforms for about 1.5 years now, I can confidently say that I've adopted so many new habits and hobbies that have completely replaced my habit of scrolling, and I'm going to share what they are with you guys today. I am beyond excited to film this video because I feel like I'm back in grade 1 about to do show and tell, so I hope you're as excited about this as I am. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing I did to replace my habit of scrolling was journaling. I know I'm not the only one, but I used to sleep with my phone in my room, and I would sleep with it right beside my bed. So in the morning, the first thing I would do would be to check my phone, and I would usually go on Instagram. This is such a negative way to start your day because you start off your day comparing yourself to all of these people who are using Photoshop and they're inauthentically portraying themselves and all that stuff. Plus, you have all of these new fashion trends and you just wake up feeling like there's always something you have to change about yourself. But when I deleted social media and I started sleeping with my phone outside my room, I needed something to replace that urge of picking my phone up first thing in the morning. And journaling is what I used to replace that. At first, journaling came off as really boring and kind of intimidating. So I knew that if I wanted to make it a habit, I had to make it practical and I had to make it easy. So what I did was I went to Chapters and I picked up this guy. It's the 5-minute journal, and it made journaling become such an easy habit first thing in the morning and first thing at night. Let me walk you through it. So this journal every single day has a motivational quote, and it's just so nice to read positive words first thing in the morning. I would wake up and look forward to opening up this journal because I'd be like, what motivational quote am I going to get to read today? Is it going to apply to my life? Is it going to give me clarity? I was just so excited. Then underneath, it has a section where you write down 3 things you're grateful for. This is so transformative because so many of us mindlessly go through our day where we're always like, I wish I had this. I wish I looked like this. I wish I could go there. But we're rarely like, wow, I'm just really grateful I can even walk. Oh, I'm so grateful that I have clothes on my back. So starting off your day by talking about or writing about things that you possess that you often overlook, but that you're really grateful of having, just makes you start off your day on such a positive note. Underneath, it has a section where you write down 3 things that would make today great. So it gives you something to look forward to throughout the day. And then right under that, you write out some daily affirmations. So some reminders or kind words you want to say to yourself as the day goes on, like, I am healthy, I am strong, I am loved, things like that. That morning section honestly takes like 3 minutes out of your day, and it just makes you feel good. And over time, you're going to become addicted to that sensation of wanting to feel good, and that sensation is satisfied when you do this. So this replaced my morning urge to pick up my phone. Then at night, it has a section where you write out 3 highlights of your day. Again, this was really transformative because even on bad days, when you really force yourself to reflect on your day, you can always find something that was good. For example, like a highlight of the day was seeing the sun shining, or getting to pet a dog, or getting to breathe in fresh air. So many of us, again, can overlook these small things that are so beautiful. And it just reminds us, again, that there's always something to be grateful for. And then at the very bottom, which is my favorite section, is where you write out a lesson you learned during the day. Every single day, there are so many lessons that we have the chance of learning, but again, we overlook them. But by journaling, it forces you to reflect on your day, and again, you can keep a collection of lessons you learned on a daily basis. So I highly recommend you get a 5-minute journal, or you just find any journal that you might already have and create space for those 3 sections. It will help your mind relax before bed so that you're able to get a really good night's rest, and it'll help you wake up feeling happy and refreshed. I upped my journaling game though on January 1st of 2024 this year when I got my safe journal. This journal really helped me put my thoughts together in a way where I can look back on it and almost read like a mini story of how I've transformed every single day. I have a link down below for this journal for 10% off if you are interested. But funny enough, yesterday I completed the very last page of this journal and I just felt so proud of myself. It takes discipline to journal like this every single day. You're basically writing a mini essay of how your day went, how you felt, what thoughts you had. But it's so worth it because I looked back on some of my earlier journal entries and my mindset has transformed so much. I got to read about problems that I faced at the beginning of the year that I thought were gonna lead to the end of the world. And I see where I am now and I'm okay. And it reminds me that I've overcome every single hurdle that's been thrown at me. And it just reassures me that anything that I face in the future, I will be able to overcome just like I did with all of these times in the past. Let me stop you right there. Do you notice how reflective my mindset is? How self-aware I am? Yeah, that's all because of journaling. Okay, so I highly recommend you pick up a journal and start trying to do it every single morning and every single night. Okay, the next thing I did to replace my habit of scrolling is reading. I applied this to my morning routine little by little, but I would journal and then I will pick up my book and I will read just a sentence or a paragraph or a page. It increased over time. It went from literally reading a paragraph every single morning and every single night to reading a chapter every single morning and every single night. What led to this was the realization that if I had time every single morning to scroll on my phone for like 20 minutes before getting up, I was like, how many books can I read if I just read like for a few minutes every single morning and every single night? Well, I've read a lot of books now. I love reading. I look forward to it. I feel like I have the opportunity to place myself in the shoes of hundreds of different people's lives. And it's like I'm living in a mini mental movie every single day. My reading flip-flops between self-improvement and fiction. Lately, I've been sprinkling in some historical fiction, some sci-fi. But the habit of reading has honestly been so transformative because when I read self-improvement stuff, I learn so much. I learn so much about how I can do little things to better myself or make the people around me feel more receptive to me. But when I read fiction, I just feel my mind relaxing and I catch myself envisioning myself in these plots throughout the day, and I just think that's so fun. I tried last summer to replace my habit of scrolling throughout the day with reading. With this guy right here, The Song of Achilles, I would put this book in my purse because it fit. And every single time I had to kill like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, I would pull out this book instead of my phone. And I finished this book so fast. It's crazy that you can actually read a ton if you just use your free time throughout the day to read instead of scrolling. But yeah, reading became a habit by reading a paragraph, which turned into a page, which turned into a chapter every single morning and every single night, and then carrying around a book with you to pull out and read instead of scrolling on your phone. I just wanted to take some time to recommend some books that really helped me get into the habit of reading. So a lot of you guys have probably heard of this book series, the Empyrean series. Fourth Wing is in my bookshelf right now, but I read Iron Flame recently. This isn't going to turn into a book review video, but oh my goodness, if you want to get hooked onto reading, read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. If you're more in the self-improvement realm, if that's what you're into, I highly recommend Brianna Weiss. I find her writing super digestible, and recently I finished 101 essays, but an easier book to start off with that I would recommend is The Pivot Year. It has little paragraphs on each page. It's not even complete pages of writing. You just read one a day, and it just gets you into the habit of picking up a book and reading. And they're all things that can relate to your life and will shift your perspective in such a positive way. I also recently finished How to Win Friends and Influence People, and this was a super easy read as well. And this is a historical fiction book I read recently, The Stolen Hours. I personally really enjoyed it, and this fiction book, If We Were Villains, I read it recently, but I still recommend you read the Empyrean series first. Read Fourth Wing and tell me what you think about it. Okay, the next thing I did to replace my habit of scrolling is crocheting. Oh my goodness, I am highly addicted to crocheting. I was not really good at it at first, but who would have thought that a hook and some yarn would completely consume my life? So around the time I actually started getting good at crocheting, I went to Norway with my mom to go visit family. And when I was in Norway, I was shocked by what girls my age were doing. They would be waiting for the bus and they would just have yarn coming out of their backpack and they would just be knitting or crocheting. I took a ferry to Denmark, and as I'm walking through this boat, there's just girls who are sitting again with their yarn and they're just crocheting the entire time. They're not on their phones. They're not listening to music or anything. They're just in their own world and they're crocheting. And I was like, why don't I see anyone in Canada doing that? And so when I got back from Norway, I became a yarn girl. I am crocheting all the time. If I am waiting for my novio, my boyfriend, to come pick me up, I'm crocheting. If I am writing something out, if I'm editing something and I just need a little bit of a break, I just pick up my yarn and I start crocheting. Guys, when you replace scrolling with habits, you come out with outcomes you didn't think you were even capable of. Let me explain. So when I'm bored or when I'm waiting for someone or when I need a brain break, I could have gone on my phone. I could have been scrolling. But what do you get out of that? Nothing. Maybe trauma. Maybe low self-esteem. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. But when you replace your free time with crocheting, you come out with halter tops. Halter tops you can wear during the summer. I finished this top literally like 2 days ago, but it's like a little frilly octopus top moment. I did this without a pattern. I'm very, very proud of it. I listed it on my Depop though because I don't tend to wear cropped things, and this is a little too cropped for my liking. So if anyone wants this, you can snatch it on my Depop store. I'll also link that down below, and expect more crochet creations on my Depop store as well because I just can't stop. I'm working on a scrap yarn project right now. I'm making what they call a shrug or a bolero, and I'm using all of this yarn that I have left over. What do you think? I mean, I only have one sleeve done right now and I haven't even turned it into a tube, but I think it looks cute. But I highly recommend you try crocheting or knitting because you can take it with you anywhere. In the car, while you're on the bus. It's just so relaxing, and you come out with new clothes or new little accessories, and it's just so fun. Maybe one day I'll put out a crochet vlog. We'll see. So the last thing I did to replace my habit of scrolling is exercising. Now, this is going to be more of a compilation of different exercises because I've tried a whole bunch of different things. But moving your body instead of just sitting and looking down and scrolling can be so transformative. You can literally build muscle in your free time instead of just looking at memes. I don't know why that's such a oh my goodness moment in my brain. It sounds like common sense, but when you're addicted to social media, you're just trapped in this digital world and you come out and you're like, whoa, I could have literally become stronger this entire time. That's crazy. Well, yeah, that was me. And when I deleted social media, I had time to do things I had said I didn't have time for before. I started taking my dog for 1 hour walks every single day. Sometimes I take him on 2. I'll take him out for a walk in the morning, and then at night, if I finish all my stuff early, I'll just take him out for another walk again. I also started jumping rope. I picked up this rope while I was in Norway. Again, everyone there is just so healthy and so fit, and it inspired me to just be more productive with my free time. But yeah, I've been skipping rope. I'll just put on music and I'll just start skipping to the beat of the music. It sounds weird when I say it like that, but it's honestly such a good workout and it's really, really fun. I also got a gym membership, so I've been going there. I tend to stay away from the weights though, because some of you may know this, some of you may not, but I have what they call slipping rib syndrome. So I have a bottom rib that decides to dislocate, basically like 3 to 10 times a day, depending on what I'm doing. So I tend to stick to cardio. It seems to keep that rib in place the best, but I do the stair climber, I do the bike, I do the treadmill, I do stretching, I do sit-ups, I do all that good stuff. And yes, I do feel stronger. I also tried boxing for some time and I loved it. It was so much fun. I also did Pilates. Didn't love that so much and it was very expensive. And I also tried dance classes, which I loved very much, and I hope to get back into that. These have been the 4 habits that have stuck with me the best throughout my social media detox experience. So just to recap, journaling, reading, crocheting, and then exercising. But there were other things I did throughout my detox journey that I definitely enjoyed, but it didn't stick with me, so maybe it'll stick with you. I signed up for HelloFresh at the beginning of my social media detox, and for about 3 months, it got me into the habit of cooking. I learned so many new recipes. I can make a killer seafood linguine. I can make a killer salmon with lemon zest. I can make flatbread now. I know that sounds simple. Couldn't do it before. I can do it now. I also tried making jewelry. I was doing beaded jewelry for some time, but that hobby got a little bit expensive for me, but it's super duper fun, super relaxing, and you come out with so many beautiful accessories. I was also doing sewing. This habit stuck with me for actually a really long time, but it just made my room so messy and I had to stop. There was just fabric everywhere, threads everywhere. My dog would come into my room and there would be needles on the floor and I just couldn't have that anymore. So my sewing machines are in my closet, but I loved it so much. I was making so many clothes. I was making dresses, shirts, bags, coats. I was making gifts for my friends, gifts for my brothers and my mom and my dad. I was making so many things. I got my sewing machine for super cheap from Canadian Tire, but they also sell some on Amazon and at Walmart that I think are great for beginners. And there are so many tutorials on YouTube, so it's super simple to actually teach yourself how to sew. It's definitely more intimidating just by looking at it, but once you start getting into it, you'll realize like, oh, it's not that bad. Oh my goodness, I got into photography, but with film cameras. That was so much fun. I printed off all of these photos from my film camera and I started creating photo albums, and I'm still doing that, but I am now just printing photos straight off from my phone because, again, the disposable cameras in the film got a little bit too expensive. But if you haven't tried that, I definitely recommend that you try that. Oh, and the one obvious habit that I've developed has been filming, recording videos. Hello, I'm putting out YouTube videos twice every single week. Now that I'm not scrolling on Instagram, I feel like I'm actually making meaningful content by creating these YouTube videos for you guys. So if you've never tried making videos before, I highly recommend that you try that as well. So that concludes all of the activities that I've picked up on to replace my habit of scrolling. I hope it's inspired you to pick up these hobbies and habits as well. If you still haven't deleted social media, but you're considering it and you're feeling intimidated and you don't know where to start and you're experiencing the fear of missing out or the fear of losing your friends and all that stuff, I get it. I was there once too. I created a step-by-step social media detox guide and it's linked down below. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you check that out. Thank you so much for joining me with my show and tell session. No, but for real, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I had so much fun, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye!